don't want you to be disappointed when you declutter and you realize that for certain things you were sold a lie. This is a much more realistic impression of what minimalism is like. Let's go. Life isn't all sunshine and rainbows, so let me disabuse you of these decluttering myths, and I'm going to start with the one that frustrates me most on a daily basis. Oh, how I wanted this one to be true, and maybe in some cases it is, but certainly not all. That is the idea that when you start decluttering, your partner, housemate, whoever will follow suit. The magic of minimalism will somehow spread to them and you'll all live happily ever after. No. While my husband has decluttered a handful of things over the years, he is definitely not a minimalist. He is definitely not even an aspiring minimalist. He just wants nothing to do with it. In fact, our 8-year-old daughter is better at decluttering than he is. I will say though that you can still make a lot of progress just by focusing on your own stuff and maybe some joint stuff as well. I do have loads more advice for how to get other people a little bit more on board the decluttering train. I will link that for you. Just know that if it happens, it's a bonus, but if it's something that you're holding out for, you might be disappointed. Next is the idea that decluttering is a one and done. This misconception came from the KonMari method. So Marie Kondo says that once you have finished your tidying festival, you will never have to do it again. Personally, I think that this has been misunderstood. I think what she meant was that you will never have a first time again. She doesn't mean that you will never have to declutter again. But if you do a really thorough job the first time, the rest will be maintenance, like small little decluttering sprees here and there to keep on top of things. I guess one of the biggest things here is how many of us really do a thorough job the first time? How many of us get it right the first time? I know for me, I made a lot of mistakes. I learned a lot of lessons along the way and I ended up redoing it with that new knowledge. By the by, if you want to get the best results possible from the outset, stick around to the end. You'll be really interested in what I'll be talking about. But this idea kind of ties in with my first point, which is that you may live with someone who's not on board with the decluttering, someone who is constantly buying and bringing a lot of things into the home. And it also leads to my next decluttering myth, which is once you declutter, you will never reclutter. Decluttering in and of itself is not going to fix bad spending habits. I speak from personal experience, but you can definitely become a more conscious consumer. It can definitely open your eyes to a lot of things. It may make you think twice before you make an impulse purchase, but you really need to replace your shopping habit with something else because it's easier to avoid temptation altogether. I don't go to the shops as much anymore than it is to try and continually resist temptation. If you're going to the shops, chances are you're going to buy something. And for those times when you do have to go to the shops, because we all do it, you need to have some form of system in place, a question or a set of questions that you ask yourself that just bring more attention and intention to any purchases that you're considering. You also need to have a system for stuff that just ends up in your home anyway, like mail, papers, leaflets, all of that sort of stuff. Just some way of dealing with that stuff, but it's foolish to think that once you declutter, you will never have to deal with clutter again. As a kind of part 2 to that, another decluttering myth is that when you declutter, your home will somehow magically, automatically be tidy. But the reality is that no matter how much you declutter, you are still going to make messes around your home, and over time more clutter is going to creep back in. So decluttering isn't like a quick fix here. You really have to be diligent about maintenance and making sure that things don't get out of hand again. You have to make sure that everything has a place for it to go. The good news though is that when you declutter, if you've done like a really good job of it, yes, you will make messes while you're taking things out, maybe while you're cooking, while your kids are playing with their toys, but it's going to be so much quicker and easier to put that stuff away afterwards. And here's something interesting. This is probably not so much a myth as just a common mistaken mindset. When we think of clutter or decluttering, we tend to only think in terms of physical stuff, but how overflowing are our email inboxes? You know, how many times does your device run out of storage space? How many like negative thoughts and beliefs bring you down? Our lives are made up of so much more than physical stuff, and that's why decluttering your home, while it will definitely bring massive benefits, can attest to this, it's not going to solve all of your clutter problems. Sure, physical stuff might be a great place to start, but you have to be diligent about all aspects of decluttering. Now, if you're feeling discouraged and you're thinking, okay, well, why would I bother then? Jumpstart Your Decluttering Journey is a free 5-day challenge that is designed to help you focus on what is most important. By the end of the 5 days, you'll have a box of stuff ready to be donated and the knowledge that you need to continue your journey with confidence and clarity. Get signed up right here, and until next time, grab míle maith agaibh. Agus feici mé sibhte go luath. Slán!